Hi, I'm Emily Jacob and welcome to Em's R&R, Tips for Rescue and Resilience. I'm sharing tips to help navigate these uncertain times and any type of time. Rescue, so you can self-rescue when you feel anxious, overwhelmed or flat out panicked. And resilience, so you can build an inner core that means you need to self-rescue less often. And today I'm going to talk to you about a concept called the worry tree and worry time. So really, when we're worrying about things, they fall into two types of worry. So there are worries that are practical and there are worries that are very hypothetical. So a practical worry might be, is my Amazon delivery going to come during this recording? I could be worrying about that. That's something that could well happen. Hopefully not, because then they would just need to leave it on my door at this point. The hypothetical worry might be, but what if my Amazon delivery gets lost in the post? It's something that might or might not happen. And at the moment, in terms of what we're going through with COVID-19, there's an awful lot of both practical worries and hypothetical worries that are afflicting all of us all the time. Practical worries like, will I be able to go out for my walk? Will I see too many people? Will it be too crowded? Will my shopping that I've got delivered, will that have my eggs in it? Will there be toilet paper when when I go to the shops? That kind of worry, very practical, very substantive. And then hypothetical worries about the uncertainty of how long this kind of way of life might continue and what kind of society we might be evolving into when we come out after. And all of the worries hypothetically about, will I get ill? Will I survive if I get ill? Will I be able to say goodbye to my family if they get ill? So there are lots of very hypothetical and, when they do get ill, practical worries that are engulfing us right now. And it's very easy to get lost in our worries and kind of let them play a loop in our head. And I don't know about you, but certainly for me, I'm finding that worries are can be dominating a lot of the time in ways that they weren't before we came into Corona time, as I call it. So the things that we can do. So the worry tree is essentially a very, very easy flowchart, which says, can I do anything right now? Yes, it's a practical worry. No, it's a hypothetical worry. So as soon as you've identified what kind of a worry it is through the worry tree, can I do anything right now? Yes, it's a practical worry. No, it's a hypothetical worry. Then you know what you need to do. If it's a practical worry, you can problem solve it. And that's very, very straightforward because it's a problem. So you say, okay, identify what the problem is, identify any solutions to that problem, decide which one you want to try of your solutions, make a plan, carry it out and review, did it work? And if it didn't, go back to your list of solutions and try something else. So practical worries, whilst they might feel insurmountable, they have solutions that if you give yourself some time to think clearly about it, you will identify different actions that you can take. And as soon as you start taking an action against the worry, it tends to reduce and stop knocking on the door inside your head saying, hey, remember me. It kind of goes away and goes, oh yeah, she's handling it. She's going through a solution. Haha, it might not work, but that's a hypothetical. But you're going through the actions, and if it doesn't work, you go back to this and try a different solution to it. Now, the hypothetical worries are a little bit more complex because they may or may not happen. And it's quite easy to get pulled into the catastrophizing of what might happen if, and going down and down and down into the abyss of the end of the world, which is generally where hypothetical worries can lead you if you follow the spiral. Now, the thing is, again, if you don't address it, it will keep knocking on the door in your head, and it will try to get louder and louder and louder. And then you'll need to do other things to try to stop it. And that's when you start to get into some of the less healthy coping mechanisms of just to try to drown out the worry inside your head. So don't suppress it, write it down. And plan some worry time. So basically, that's a period of time which you practically put into your diary, or write it down on a piece of paper that at 4 o'clock today, I'm going to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, whatever you want, to worry about things. And you say to your worries inside your head, you don't get time till worry time. And you write it down so it knows it's going to be dealt with during worry time. And you would be surprised at how often the fact that you have written it down and it knows it's going to be addressed in worry time, it will quieten down quite substantially. And it's a really fantastic way of starting to get a grip over all of the hypothetical worries. So write down all the hypothetical worries as they crop up in the day. Once you've written it down, refocus on the present. So you might want to do the mindful minute. You might want to just deep breathe in to do a few 7-11 routines. You might want to use the breathing space. You might want to just take a look outside your window, go for a walk, whatever you want to do to kind of ground yourself back into the present. You have written down the worry and it's going to be dealt with in worry time. Now, when you do get to worry time, set the alarm for as long as you've promised yourself that you will give yourself, because you don't want to go back on an agreement with yourself. Your unconscious doesn't like that, believe me. Your unconscious needs to trust that your conscious is going to do as it's promised. And during worry time, just think about your worries. Do let yourself go through that spiral if that's where your brain wants to go. You might be the kind of person who wants to write it out. I like to write it out when I've given myself worry time. I like to just take pen and paper and let my catastrophizing brain guide me in what I write. Or you might want to just sit and think. You might want to meditate on the worry. It's entirely up to you, and you might want to try out the different techniques that you find work. When worry time is over, so your alarm is gone, you stop. It's very important. You don't give yourself longer than you had promised, because worry time could take up the whole day if it wanted to. What you want to do is you want to make sure that it's really controlled, so you don't get lost in it, so that you've dealt with it for as much as you can in that time. And if that particular hypothetical worry is going to come back, you'll write it down again and it'll get handled at the next worry time. But when worry time has finished, stop and refocus again. So again, doing something that will bring you and ground you back into the present. It might be a slightly longer activity than it was when you had just written down what had come to your mind. That might be much smaller because you've just written down worry X on a piece of paper, whereas now you might have spent 20 minutes worrying, and it might be that you want to spend another 20 minutes now really focusing on the now, on the present, and on being safe in your skin. So those are the techniques for handling our worries. Practical worries that you can do something about right now. You can problem solve, you can create your plan for how you might resolve them. And hypothetical worries, which may or may not happen in the future, you can set aside time to worry about them just during the worry time. And hopefully they will become less impactful as time goes on, and they realize that they have been given the space to breathe. So that is the worry tree and worry time. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you for watching, and share with others if this has been helpful to you. Thank you ever so much.